All right, guys, for all of you Rotring 800 guys, I always want to know how to open this pen up, and I was always confused about it until I decided to put my purse down and just open it. And so I'm going to try and teach you guys how to do that. So the key to opening the pen, I mean, we know that you can open it here. You take out the shaft and yeah, everything works in it. But the key to actually opening it, I always like to keep the pen actually on. You see, when I turn the shaft, this thing stays a little out. The important thing is that you see this little collet, this one, doesn't actually turn when you rotate it. That one remains the same. What you have to try and do is get this collet to turn, because it's just, this whole thing is screwed onto the shaft. The way that I found about opening it, you can see a little bit of wear here in the middle, like a small line. It's because when I turn it this way, I jammed my nail, applying pressure between the body of the pen and the cap, right in between that line. And over here as well, just ever so slightly, closing the pen with my nail in there. Sometimes, at first, it'll just be sliding, and it will not be opening it. But sooner or later, you'll see that you will have broken through the glue. Let's see if I have broken. It's still sliding. Anyways, it's a little bit of a play in there. You just have to play with it. And it'll eventually start to loosen. If you see there, now the collet is spinning with the pen. What you have to do now is hold it when you turn it on, and hold it back down when you loosen it. Do this for a little while until you're actually able to spin. Yeah, you see we're not quite there yet. So on, off, on. So what I'm doing is I'm holding it, because it'll thread back on when I turn the pen to open it. What I want to do is hold it in place when I thread it on, and carry the collet with me when I take it off. You'll get to a point in which you are able to just free spin it without actually needing to open it or close it. You can just free spin. You can see all the gunk and glue that they put on here, and bam. You'll see that little plastic aligns with this little nibbit right there. And that's how you would put it back in reverse. You would slightly there, tighten, and do the opposite. Grip when you turn on, let go when you turn off. Grip when you turn on, let go when you turn off. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it back out. Okay, now we can open this section. You'll see there's a little retaining clip that holds this plastic shaft down. You see that? This is a little tricky because there is some sort of grease, lubrication grease in between there. And it's hard to get that retention ring to lift up. But you can use the pen itself to kind of push up on it. And it'll come up. Just like that. So, you align the little section with that little nibbit. Just comes right off without even bending or breaking or anything. in the plastic shaft, simply you just push it in and it'll come out. And there it is, guys. This is the Rotring 800 ballpoint pen in its entirety. I'll be doing a little bit of a photo shoot right now, just outlining all the parts and their components in case you guys are curious. But there it is. To put it back on, you do the opposite. This one's a little tricky because it must align. See, this little section must align inside of the shaft with the opened area. So like this. You see that little open area on that side? That's where that must go. So put it in like that. Give it a little bit of a push. See, like I said, it's a little tricky, but bam, there it is. Just align it, and then you get the little gold collet. I like to put the pen inside, just like that. And while that's there, it's a little tricky because it's just so small. My fingers are a lot bigger than that. Bam. Just push it close a little bit just in case. Then you have to observe in what direction the collet lies on. That way. So you don't want to have that emptiness of the gold bar where it's going to end. So what you want to do is put the openness on the opposite side, just like that. So when this closes, it'll never go through the shaft. Next, you put your cartridge, you close the bottom, you align this bar with that slot, then you twist the bottom end, and you do the reverse that we did in the initial. Hold when you open, let go when you close, hold when you open. If you are never going to service this pen again, or you just want to make sure that it's tight, you can put a little bit of Loctite in the threads, or a little bit of plumber's silicone, white silicone tape. That seems to work on my other pens. So bam, there it is. The pen is actually fully serviceable.